Who should England pick versus the Springboks next week for the opening game of the Nations Championship? Well, in this video, I'm going to be giving you my predicted lineup for England. Players based on form, players based on how they played in the Six Nations as well, and just what I think Steve Borthwick might be looking to pick for this opening game, a massive game against South Africa. I cannot wait for this game. And looking at this team right now, I'm going to look at it as a complete neutral. Looking at the game as well next week as a complete neutral. I mean, I am a Springbok supporter, but I really do enjoy watching the England rugby team play. There's so much history between this game. I mean, 2007 World Cup, 2019 World Cup, 2023 World Cup. There's so much history between these two teams. It's a very respectable rivalry. It's a very well-respected rivalry, and I cannot wait for this game. But if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I appreciate all the support. Honestly, the channel has been growing so quickly, and there's been a lot of really knowledgeable England fans in the comments as well. So please, if you do agree with the team I've selected, let me know down below in the comments. If you've disagreed, let me know as well. So let's get right into it. Starting off with number 1, I've gone for Ellis Gench. I mean, that's pretty much a no-brainer play. Number 2, Jamie George as the captain. I'm pretty sure the captain is not going to be playing off the bench as well, and Jamie George is one of those guys. He is very experienced in this team. Number 3, one of the most informed players for this England team right now, a rock-solid scrummager, and I think this guy's one to watch for this game. Joe Hayes. I think it's going to be Joe Hayes versus Oxenchair next week, and that's going to be an absolutely bruising battle. What I predicted on the South African side was Oxenchair, Malcolm Marx, and Thomas du Toit. So it's going to be them against Ellis Gench, Jamie George, and Joe Hayes for me. So that's going to be a really good matchup as well. Now going on to the locks, this is where it got a bit more difficult because there's a lot of people saying that George Martin is the right guy for this game. I fully agree, but that's why I've got George Martin on the bench. I just see that if they play George Martin in the starting lineup and put a guy like Ollie Chesham at loose forward, things really do get difficult selection-wise for the bench as well. I'll kind of explain the selections I had and how I've changed it and what I think they might do. So I've gone for number 4, Alex Coles, and number 5, Ollie Chesham. I was going to go with George Martin and Alex Coles with Ollie Chesham at number 6, but I didn't do that. Instead, I'm going Alex Coles number 4, Ollie Chesham number 5, Guy Pepper number 6, Henry Pollock number 7, and Ben Earl number 8. So that's just what I think the forward pack is going to be. I do think Henry Pollock is going to start. He's on form right now. He's one of those players you just have to play him while he's on form. I think Guy Pepper will be the guy number 6 between him and Tom Curry. But what I did have before was Alex Coles, George Martin, Ollie Chesham. I had a guy like a Guy Pepper or a Henry Pollock there, number 7 with Ben Earl at number 8. But then I had Guy Pepper and Tom Curry on the bench, which for me, from a balance perspective, didn't make sense. So my forward pack, my predicted forward pack to play against the Springboks next week, Ellis Gench at number 1, Jamie George as captain at number 2, of course, Joe Hayes at number 3, Alex Coles at number 4, Ollie Chesham at number 5. Ollie Chesham is one of those players you have to watch. He has been awesome for England recently. Guy Pepper at number 6. I will say I am expecting a bit more from Guy Pepper. Not his best Six Nations, but he's had a pretty good Prem season as well, so expecting a lot from him. Number 7, Henry Pollock on form. I think no Sam Underhill in this team. It is time for Henry Pollock to start, and what better place to do it than number 8, Ben Earl. Of course, Ben Earl at number 8. So that's my forward pack for the England team next week. I think it's a really strong forward pack, really mobile forwards as well. And I think right now with the team England's building, they shouldn't try to change too many things up, especially right now when honestly, right now probably is the best time for England to get a result against South Africa. South Africa's players have been playing in Japan, where they haven't had the same amount of physicality. Some of the players aren't match ready. I predicted as well that a lot of players that are just coming back from injury will be chucked right back into the team as well. So this realistically is England's best chance in a while to get a good win against South Africa and a win against South Africa in South Africa at Ellis Park. So that's just what I'm seeing. But looking at the backline, number 9 and number 10, 2 Northampton Saints players, Alex Mitchell and Finn Smith. It just makes sense right now. I know Alex Mitchell was playing off the bench in the Prem final. He just came back from an injury, so that makes sense. But the style he plays, the way he plays the game, he just makes it easy for everyone outside of him. He's got quick ball. Sometimes he can be a bit slower, but when he actually does play up to that tempo, he gets really quick ball. His box kicks are extremely accurate, and England do use their box kicks as an attacking weapon. So I think a guy like Alex Mitchell is very important at this level right now for this game, especially at altitude where the ball will hang a bit longer as well. The ball will go a bit further. I think, honestly, from that kind of perspective, it could be suiting England a lot more than it could be suiting South Africa with the style of game that they decide to play. Now, I think Finn Smith at number 10, I was going to go with George Ford at number 10, but I just don't see that happening right now. A few weeks ago, I thought, okay, maybe George Ford actually is the guy to take England forward. I don't think so. I think George Ford is the perfect guy right now. You don't have to play him in these games. Maybe he might play off the bench. I don't see why they would play him off the bench, especially because utility forwards and utility players are so much more popular right now because they have such a kind of broader range of use as well. So I think Finn Smith to play 10 for this game. He's a really good youngster. Probably not the youngest guy anymore, but he's still in his prime. He's actually still entering his prime for rugby as well. So I think right now, a year from the World Cup, give a guy like Henry Pollock, give a guy like Finn Smith that experience away from home at South Africa, and they really will benefit from it. The worst thing that can happen for this England team is they lose this game. The best thing that can happen is they win this game. But I don't think they have anything to lose going into this game realistically. I mean, everybody really thinks that England is the underdog in this game, but I really have a sneaky suspicion that this game is going to go down to the wire, and I really think England are going to be up for the fight. That's just what I'm seeing. Even as a South African fan, I've had this gut feeling for a while based on this game. Now moving on to the other players, number 11 and number 14, the two wingers. I've gone for number 11, Emmanuel Feiwa-Boso, and number 14, Tommy Freeman. That is two world-class wingers. Both of them definitely in the top 10 in the world for wingers as well. Some phenomenal rugby players those two are. I mean, those guys can really tear any team up. And can you imagine Feiwa-Boso versus Cheslin Colby, Tommy Freeman versus a Kurtley Orense or a Edward van der Merwe like I predicted? That is going to be absolute fireworks, and you cannot give those guys any space. I know the South African fans, me included, we think our players are the fastest in the world because they seem like they're the fastest in the world. But Emmanuel Feiwa-Boso and Tommy Freeman are two extremely quick athletes, and I think they can cause a lot of damage. Of course, you also have the discussion of you can put Tommy Freeman at 13, but I think for this game especially and for the World Cup, play the player where he's a specialist, especially if you have the other guys available that have been playing good for their clubs as well. That is why at number 12 and number 13, I've gone for Max Ajomo and number 13, Henry Slade. Now, I think this is a really well-balanced centre combination. Both of them are ballers. Both of them are very good playmakers. They can play as first receiver as well. We've seen the passes that Max Ajomo can swing out wide. This guy can really get the ball into space quickly with a flat pass as well, which I think with the rush defense that the Springboks do, the quicker the ball can get wide, the better. The more space you can take up quicker, the more ground you can cover as well. So I do see Max Ajomo being the 12 for this game, especially no Ollie Lawrence as well, no Fraser Dingwall as well. I see Max Ajomo as the 12 for this one. Then at number 13, I see Henry Slade, another guy that's got a really good boot as well, very accurate goal kicker, runs really good lines, is actually very physical, and he's been in really good form for Exeter recently. So for me, Henry Slade at number 13, and that backline's looking really good. But number 15, George Furbank for me. Now you can put a guy like Marcus Smith there, you can put a guy like Freddie Stewart there. I think Freddie Stewart it's probably a 50-50 between Furbank and Stewart, but I think right now you shouldn't try to play into the other team's strengths. You shouldn't play Freddie Stewart because you know the Springboks might put an aerial bombardment down. You have to play with your strengths, and I think playing a guy like George Furbank opens up so many more attacking avenues for this team. They attack better, he's a better playmaker as well, and I just think for this game, having that 9-10-15 combination, or from the Northampton Saints, or the kind of part of that Prem winning backline kind of spine, I think that really does make it a lot easier to play with, especially in a backline that hasn't been playing together for a while. If you're 9, 10 and 15 know how to play together, it makes the other things a lot easier as well. I mean, even considering that the number 14 plays for the Saints as well, you have that whole kind of connection there in the backline, and the other guys will figure out how to play together, especially if Slade's at number 13 and Feiwa-Boso's at number 11. They already know how to combine together. They have that combination from before. So I'm just seeing this as combinations, players in form, not playing to the strengths of South Africa, not trying to kind of account for what they're going to do, instead trying to impose your game on them. That's just what I think England really need to do in this game to get a good result. But looking at the bench I've selected here, this is where it got a bit more difficult, because a lot of these guys I've seen before, a lot of these guys I haven't seen too much of, but I know they are good players. So please, if you disagree with my bench, let me know what you would do better in the comments down below. I will try to give my explanation as well. So number 16, I've gone for Luke Cowan-Dickey. Number 17, Beno Abano. Number 18, Vileke Sasela. Number 19, George Martin. Number 20, Tom Curry. Number 21, I've gone for Greg Fisselau. Number 22, Ben Spencer. And number 23, Marcus Smith. So that's the kind of impact players I've gone for. I think that it really is a good impactful bench. So I'll explain some of these selections. I think Luke Cowan-Dickey over Theo Dan right now. Me, I would probably choose Theo Dan, but just thinking what they will choose, I think based on experience, it will be Luke Cowan-Dickey right now. Kind of has to perform better than he did in the Six Nations, but he's been pretty good this year when he's played. I mean, he's been alright at club rugby, and I think he will get the nod for the number 16 jersey. Number 17 and number 18, Beno Abano and Vileke Sasela. Both of these guys have been really good for their respective clubs this year, and I think it's about time that they just played these guys, gave them that experience, chucked them in the deep end, because they honestly can be those guys that can thrive in the deep end. We've seen it before with their club teams as well. I think they can do a really good job, and this probably is the most tough job you can do, scrumming against guys like a Thomas du Toit, a Oxenchair, a Volkulo, potentially into Tokum Jr. as well, or a Gerard Steenkamp. It's going to be an absolutely long day for these guys in the office, but can they kind of be thrown into the deep end and come out better players? I think that's what they need to do for this game, and have that guy like Luke Cowan-Dickie in the middle for experience. You obviously don't want to have too many inexperienced guys, but I think those two guys coming on with Luke Cowan-Dickie in the middle, that probably is the best thing you can do. Now with the other guys in the forward pack in the bench, I've gone for George Martin, Tom Curry and Greg Visselau. Of course, Tom Curry you can start, you can bench him between him and Guy Pepper. I'm not too sure what's going to happen there. That's kind of one of those 50-50 things, but I think George Martin will be in the team. Whether he's starting, whether he's on the bench, he will be in the team. We saw in that World Cup semi-final in 2023, he was one of those bruising players that honestly got the better of the South African guys. He was one of the most physically dominant players on the field, and backing that up with Tom Curry, who is one of the most physical players in the England squad as well, a very good player to bring on from the bench, or probably a good guy to start as well. Those two guys coming on together will really just pack a punch, bring on some size, bring on some intensity as well, and bring on some good experience, some valuable experience. Then, of course, I've gone for Greg Visselau. I think right now is the time for Greg Visselau to get an opportunity. If Henry Pollock's on the bench, I don't expect Greg Visselau to play. If Henry Pollock does start, I expect Greg Visselau to be on the bench. And right now is the perfect time to play a guy like him right now. He's had a good season as well. I think he's a phenomenal player. He plays the game the right way. He's physical. He's got a really high work rate, and I think most of these guys in the England team have a very high work rate, but I think it is time for Greg Visselau to get trusted to actually come on in the second half and put in a big performance. That's just what I think. Let me know what you think about Greg Visselau down below, because I think he's an absolutely excellent player. Moving on to the last two guys on the bench, Ben Spencer and Marcus Smith. This is kind of standard. I think it will either be Ben Spencer starting or Alex Mitchell starting. I think that's kind of how it's going to be. Ben Spencer's had a really good year for Bath, and what I've said before, kind of with Jack van Poortvliet, you get a really good running game. With Alex Mitchell, you get a really good kicking game. With Ben Spencer, you get both of those guys, both of those things combined. You really do get both of those skill sets. He excels at all of them. He can play in the loose game, the quick game, the game where you need to take your opportunities. He also can play in those games where you need to keep it tight, kick for the corners, put the ball up in the air, let the players chase for the ball and put a really accurate contestable kick there. I think Ben Spencer can do that very well. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if he starts. That's another tough one, especially with Alex Mitchell coming from an injury. But I think Ben Spencer is the perfect guy for that number 22 jersey, and he's not on the bench because he's not a better scrum half. I think he's on the bench because that is exactly where he needs to be in this team to have the best impact as well. Then of course number 23, I've gone for Marcus Smith. Of course you can put George Ford there, you can put Freddie Stewart there, but I've gone for Marcus Smith. He can play 10, he can play fullback, and I think you need a guy that can be a utility. You can either put Freddie Stewart there who's just a fullback and kind of a wing, or you can just put George Ford there who's just a fly half. But I think Marcus Smith, you get the best of both worlds there, and he's a really good player, very exciting player, and he can cause some damage in these big games. We saw it against the All Blacks last year as well at Twickenham. He came on, he absolutely tore things up and had a really good game that ended up being a win for England as well against the mighty All Blacks. So that is my 23 selected. I'll go through it one more time. Ellis Genge, Jamie George, Joe Hayes, the locks, Alex Coles and Ollie Chess, and the loose forwards, Guy Pepper, Henry Pollock and Ben Earl. Number 9 and number 10, Alex Mitchell and Finn Smith. The two wingers, Emmanuel Feiwa-Bosso and Tommy Freeman. The centres, Max Ajomo and Henry Slade. Number 15, George Furbank. Impact players from the bench, Luke Cowan-Dickie, Beno Abano, Vilekesa Sela, George Martin, Tom Curry, Greg Visselau, Ben Spencer and Marcus Smith. Please let me know if you agree or if you disagree down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.